There's a moment, small, almost forgettable, that tells you more about a person than 100 conversations ever could. It isn't the job title on their resume. It isn't the way they shake your hand or the words they choose in a first meeting. It's the flicker of behavior that happens when they think nothing is being measured. This is where character actually lives, not in declarations, but in unguarded seconds. We are taught, from an early age, to perform, to smile at the right moment, to say, "Thank you," even when we don't mean it, to present a version of ourselves calibrated for approval. This isn't dishonesty, it's survival. Social systems reward polish, and so we build what psychologists call a public self. Curated, careful, designed to be liked. But here's the uncomfortable truth this documentary exists to explore. The public self was never meant to reveal who someone is. It was built to conceal it gently for the sake of cooperation and harmony. So if the public self is a mask, where do we find the face beneath it? The answer lies in pressure. Not dramatic, cinematic pressure. Not the kind reserved for crises or tragedies, but the mundane friction of daily life. How does someone react when a waiter brings the wrong order? How do they speak to a stranger who can offer them nothing in return? What do they do when another driver cuts them off, when a plan falls apart, when they are mildly, forgettably wronged? These moments are too small to rehearse. They arrive without warning, and in that gap between stimulus and performance, the mask slips, even if only for a second. What fills that second is real. This is not about catching people in a gotcha moment. It's about understanding that character reveals itself most honestly in inconvenience, not in comfort. Anyone can be generous when it's easy. Anyone can be patient when nothing is at stake. The test isn't whether someone can perform decency on command. It's whether decency survives contact with friction. But a single moment, however revealing, is still just a data point. One kind gesture doesn't prove someone is kind, just as one short-tempered outburst doesn't prove someone is cruel. Humans are inconsistent by nature. Tired, distracted, having good days and bad ones. This is where the deeper pattern emerges, and it is the true subject of this exploration. Character is not found in a moment. It is found in repetition. The person who is kind not once, but consistently, kind to those who can help them and equally kind to those who cannot, is showing you a pattern, not a performance. The person who tells the truth when it's costly, not just when it's convenient, is revealing something structural about who they are, something that doesn't wash away under pressure. Patterns are patient. They don't rely on a single dramatic act to prove themselves. They accumulate quietly, across contexts, across time, across the moments no one was scoring. This is the secret so many people miss. We spend our lives searching for the one revealing moment, the interview answer, the grand gesture, the crisis response, when the truth was never hiding in a single event. It was hiding in the accumulation, in what someone does when it's unglamorous, in what they repeat when there's nothing to gain. If you want to understand who someone really is, stop watching for the performance. Start watching for the pattern. Watch what repeats when the applause is absent, when the stakes are low, when no one, not even they, is keeping score. And once you understand this, a far more powerful question begins to surface, one this documentary will turn toward next. If patterns reveal others, what do your own patterns reveal about you? Because somewhere, right now, someone is watching yours and quietly learning exactly who you are. Every unscripted moment you've ever had, every small choice made when no one was grading you, has been quietly writing a signature only the patient could read. So let's turn the lens around. This part isn't about decoding people anymore. It's about decoding yourself. Here is the paradox few people ever sit with. The traits that irritate you most in others are often the ones you've never fully confronted in yourself. The friend whose flakiness infuriates you. Does your own follow-through hold up under scrutiny? The colleague whose dishonesty disturbs you. Have you ever softened the truth because honesty was inconvenient? This isn't about guilt. It's about information. Judgment is often just perception pointed the wrong direction. The sharper your eye for other people's patterns, the more useful that same eye becomes when aimed inward. If you're brave enough to hold the mirror steady. This is where pattern reading stops being a party trick and becomes a discipline. Not gotcha psychology, not paranoid analysis of everyone you meet, but discernment. There's a meaningful difference between the two. Cynicism assumes the worst and stops looking. Discernment stays curious. It notices, it waits, it lets repetition speak before it draws a conclusion. The person who reads patterns with discernment doesn't become guarded and suspicious. They become clear. They know who to build with, who to trust with responsibility, who to let closer, and who to quietly keep at a respectful distance. Not out of fear. Out of clarity earned through observation. This clarity changes how you lead, too. The best leaders are rarely fooled by charisma alone, because charisma is a performance skill, trainable, repeatable, and, crucially, disconnected from character. What separates a good leader from a great one is the patience to watch what a person does across many small, low-stakes moments before granting them a high-stakes one. Trust, given this way, is not naive. It is evidence-based. It is trust that has actually been earned in the unglamorous middle, not assumed from a polished interview. But here's the final turn, the one that matters most. If everyone around you is, consciously or not, reading your patterns the way you've just learned to read theirs, then the most powerful thing you can do is stop trying to manage your image and start managing your repetition. Not your highlight reel, your habits. Because eventually, the gap between who you appear to be and who you consistently are becomes visible to everyone except you. Closing that gap, living so that your public self and your unwitnessed self are the same person, is not a moral obligation. It's a strategic advantage. It means nothing about you needs to be performed because there is nothing left to hide. Identity, in the end, is not a statement you make. It is not your bio, your title, or the story you tell at dinner parties. Identity is a residue, what's left behind after thousands of small, unnoticed choices settle into a shape. You don't declare who you are. You repeat your way into it. So here's the question this documentary leaves you with, and it's worth sitting in the discomfort of it for a moment. If someone studied your last 30 days, not your words, not your intentions, just your actions when no one was impressed and nothing was at stake, what pattern would they find? And would you be proud of what it reveals?